Hi, I'm Jeff, and this is Daisy, and welcome to another one of our videos where we take a look at all the new comic books coming out on May the 7th, 2022, Free Comic Book Day. And we ask ourselves the question, what one new free comic book would we take with us this Free Comic Book Day if we could take away just one free comic book? Yeah, I think that made sense. Thank you all for checking out this video. In this video, we're going to talk about some of the comic books that are coming out on Free Comic Book Day. And I'm going to do similar to my just one book format. There are lots of free comic books. I think I counted them, and I think there's as many as 46 thereabouts different free comic books coming out this Free Comic Book Day. So what I would recommend is I'll put the link down to where I saw the list for these books down in the comments. I suggest hitting that link, looking through them, seeing which ones interest you, and then go out to your local comic shop and on Saturday, May the 7th, 2022, and pick up some of these books. But then while you're there, support your local comic shop. Buy one or two things, give them a little bit of a financial push. Comic book shops, they operate by a razor-thin profit margin, and they could use all the support that we can give them. So go out there and give them your support. But let's go ahead and jump into the books that I want to feature to you that are coming out this Free Comic Book Day. I have 5 honorable mentions, and then I have my just one book pick for this Free Comic Book Day. Before, though, I get into that, I want to mention one book that was listed on Key Collector for this Free Comic Book Day, but I can't find information either on the Diamond website or on the Free Comic Book Day website about it. And it's interesting, so I wanted to point it out to you, so if you see it, it might be one you consider grabbing. It's called Galaxy, the Prettiest Star, issue number 1 from DC. All I know is what says here on Key Collector, which says, first appearance of Galaxy, a transgender alien princess. Okay, so one thing I think that's important to look out for with Free Comic Book Day, is first appearances. And sometimes they drop in these first appearances into these free comic books. So it's worth picking them up for free and putting them away, and who knows what might happen with them someday. So this is a first appearance that may or may not be in a comic book on Free Comic Book Day. I don't know, but I want to point it out to you just in case this character from DC might be of interest to you. All right, let's move forward with the books that I do know are going to be in your local comic shop this Free Comic Book Day. The first honorable mention is called Kaiju number 8, and it also has another story in it called Sakamoto Days. This is from Viz LLC. Here's the description. Kaiju number 8. Kafka wants to clean up kaiju, but not literally. Will a sudden metamorphosis stand in the way of his dream? With the highest kaiju emergence rates in the world, Japan is no stranger to attack by deadly monsters. Enter the Japan Defense Force, a military organization tasked with the neutralization of kaiju. Kafka Habino, a kaiju corpse cleanup man, has always dreamed of joining the force, but when he gets another shot at achieving his childhood dream, he undergoes an unexpected transformation. How can he fight kaiju now that he's become one himself? And then the other story in here, Sakamoto Days, the description is, kill some time with former hitman Taro Sakamoto. Taro Sakamoto was once a legendary hitman, considered the greatest of all time. Bad guys feared him, assassins revered him. But then one day he quit, got married, and had a baby. Now he's living the quiet life as the owner of a neighborhood store. But how long can Sakamoto enjoy his days of retirement before his past catches up to him? That's apparently the second one at least is reprint material. But I believe Kaiju number 8 is new material. This just sounds interesting to me. Kaiju are cool, and it's interesting the idea of somebody who wants to become a kaiju hunter has a transformation and becomes a kaiju. What kind of situation is that going to create? Is he going to be a kaiju who fights other kaiju? Is he going to be hunted himself? I don't know, but it sounds interesting to me. So I wanted to go ahead and flag it for all of you. The next book I want to mention to you is Best of 2000 AD Issue 0 from Rebellion/2000 AD. Here's the description. The wait is over. The ultimate 2000 AD mixtape has finally arrived. Best of 2000 AD is back. Longer page counts, more thrill power. The essential gateway to the galaxy's greatest comic. In this brand new issue 0 primer for the highly anticipated quarterly graphic novels series, A-listers Al Ewing and V.V. Glass team up for a brand new and exclusive Judge Dredd adventure. Plus, Nemesis the Warlock by Pat Mills and Kevin O'Neill's, Super Bean by John Wagner and Mick McCannon, and A Future Shock at the Ends of the Earth from Batman Inc. and Die artist Chris Burnham, featuring a cover by Star Wars concept art artist Ian McHugh. Bye, Daisy. She's had it. Okay, so this, and it says here at the bottom, exclusive original material. All right, well, this sounds like it could be a good read, something worth checking out. I am not familiar with, it seems like this is a callback to a series or that used to be around before. I mean, I'm familiar with Judge Dredd, but a lot of this other stuff that they refer to in this description, I am not familiar with. So I don't have much to say other than the fact that it sounds interesting. It sounds like it could be a read worth picking up and checking out and just having in your collection, and that is why I mention it to all of you. The next book I want to mention to you is Bloodborne, issue number 1 from Titan Comics. Here's the description. Exclusive lead-in to an epic new series launching May 2022. Enter the city of Yharnam through the eyes of its citizens. When new hunters take to the streets to fight against the cruel... What? Now you want back up? Oh, Daisy, she's very needy today, but we're going to indulge her because she's my little princess. Yeah, I'm a sucker for her. I'm a sucker for her. Okay, back to Bloodborne. Okay. Enter the city of Yharnam through the eyes of its citizens. When new hunters take to the streets to fight against the cruel and unusual epidemic that has gripped the city. In the black of night, families and faith will be tested, based on the critically acclaimed Bloodborne video game, exclusive original material. Okay. The only reason I mention this one is because it is a comic book first appearance of characters from a video game that people really, really like. And as well as the MCU and comic book characters are doing in movies and television right now, I get the feeling that at some point, video games might get a piece of that. We've seen it already a little bit. Historically, video game movies don't do that well. But if somebody figures it out, it could happen at any time. And Bloodborne might be one of those things, one of those stories, one of those video games that ends up getting a movie or a television series adaptation. And if it does, you're going to want to have this free comic book. So it's a free comic book. If you're a fan of the game, if you're a fan of games in general, or if you're a fan of having potentially first appearances that might pay off down the line in your collection, you might want to consider picking up Bloodborne this free comic book day. Okay, the next book I want to mention to you is 10 Ton Press presents 10 Ton Tales from 10 Ton Press. Here's the description. First up is the modern-day Gumby and Pokey featuring Charlie and Humphrey. The duo are crazy busy at the Bits and Pieces thrift shop, needing to hire some help immediately. Enter Gonzo, the service clown. Will things ever be the same for retail service? Next up, what is the world has been ruined by a genie that had been let out free. Wait, what in the world has been ruled by a genie? What is the world that has been ruled by a genie that has been let free from his bottle? This sentence doesn't make any sense. But anyways, there's a genie that's been freed from his bottle. What is that world? Find out as a young man and his friends go on a journey to seal the genie back into its bottle and restore the world back to normal. Last up, this is the one to pay attention to. Before there was the Foo Fighters, Dave Grohl was the drummer in the world's biggest band. After Kurt Cobain committed suicide, it left a void in his life. Slowly getting his footing again, Grohl sets out to form his own future supergroup. This Rock and Roll Biographies is an all-new story that ties into the upcoming Foo Fighters issue. Exclusive original material. Okay, so basically, all that nonsense of the sort leading up to the last part about Dave Grohl and the Foo Fighters, you can ignore, for the most part, all of that initial stuff. It's the Foo Fighters story is the reason why I bring this up. Now, any other time that this kind of story might come out, it might not be as interesting. But with the unfortunate recent death of Taylor Hawkins, this might be a story worth picking up. Who knows if someday there might be a Dave Grohl movie, a movie about the life of Dave Grohl. I mean, wouldn't that kind of make sense from his time with Nirvana all the way through his time with the Foo Fighters, the tragedy that he's experienced in his life, the success that he's experienced in his life? These are all things that might make an interesting movie, so it might be worth it to have an aspect of that movie's story told in comic book form, and this might be the place to find it. So I don't want to encourage any of us to capitalize off of the unfortunate death of somebody, but I have to say that because of Taylor Hawkins' death, this might be a comic book worth picking up and worth having in your collection. The next book I want to mention to you is Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man, Venom, issue number 1 from Marvel Comics. Here's the description. Marvel Comics will celebrate Free Comic Book Day this year with 3 separate free comic one-shots, each offering readers new and old an exciting entry point into some of Marvel's biggest upcoming stories and characters. Announced last week, Spider-Man is gearing up for a brand new era just in time for the character's 60th anniversary. Fans who pick up Free Comic Book Day Spider-Man/Venom 1 will see the very beginning of the major storylines writer Zeb Wells and legendary artist John Romita Jr. have planned for their run on Amazing Spider-Man, including Tombstone's first steps towards becoming Spidey's most terrifying villain. Free Comic Book Day, Spider-Man/Venom, issue number 1, will also give fans a chance to check out the thought-provoking work Al Ewing, Ram V, and Brian Hitch are doing on Venom. The groundbreaking changes this mastermind trio has in store for the symbiote mythos starts here. Free Comic Book Day, Spider-Man/Venom 1 will be available exclusively through Diamond Comics. Check with your local comic shop regarding availability. Okay. There's a Spider-Man Venom Free Comic Book Day book, I think at least 3 years running right now. I think I can say with confidence. It might be more, but I'm pretty sure with confidence there's been 3 years running, and that's interesting. And it's no doubt, it's Free Comic Book Day. If you're Marvel Comics, you're putting out a Spider-Man themed Free Comic Book Day book. So that's just kind of a no-brainer. Now, why do I mention this book to you in this video? Well, according to Key Collector, this book has the debut of a character called Sleeper Agent and a debut of new normie symbiote. So anything that has something new in it on Free Comic Book Day, I think is something worth having on your radar, especially when it is Spider-Man and or Venom related. So this is one of the books that I am absolutely, excuse me, sorry about that. I had a little bit of a coughing fit there for a moment, so I went ahead and cut it out for your benefit. Sorry. But anyways, to continue, any new characters that are Spider-Man or Venom related is definitely something to have on your radar. And if you can get it for free, I would definitely pick it up. And this is one that I am absolutely going to be picking up. I'm looking forward to it, and I definitely want to have at least one copy, if not more than one copy of it in my collection. All right, so those are honorable mentions that I wanted to talk about today. That leaves us the one free comic book that I would take with me if I could take with me only one free comic book. And that free comic book would be Avengers X-Men issue number 1. It actually says Avengers X-Men Eternals Judgment Day issue number 1 from Marvel Comics. Here's the description. Featuring stories by an all-star lineup of creators, including writers Kieran Gillen and Jerry Duggan, and artist Dustin Weaver. Free Comic Book Day, Avengers/X-Men number 1 will lay the groundwork for an event that will erupt across the Marvel Universe in 2022 and drastically alter the relationship between Earth's mightiest heroes and mutant kind. Okay, that's interesting to me, that last sentence right there. Alter the relationship between Earth's mightiest heroes and mutant kind. I want some more tension around mutants. Right now, the tension in the mutant community seems so fabricated because they're so OP, they're so powerful, they seem to be so kind of like, I'm gonna do me, and you all do you, and I'm gonna do me because you can't stop me. The mutants seem a little too big for their britches. I want to see some more conflict. So it'd be interesting if, like the Avengers and the X-Men, there was a rift there, and that there was once again kind of tension between the mutants and humans for the most part, or in general, or kind of sort of. So that's interesting to me in and of itself from a story standpoint. So I'm going to see. I think I may be hoping for something that might not quite be there, but we'll see. The main reason, however, to pick up this book, in case you couldn't tell, the kind of a theme of what I look for in Free Comic Book Day books are first appearances. And this one has one. According to Key Collector Comics, this will have the first appearance of Bloodline, the daughter of Blade. Okay, so this is something to pay attention to. Blade is a cool character who we frankly don't see enough of, but I think we're going to see a lot more of this character in the years to come. And with that, I think the potential of a Blade-connected additional character is something to pay attention to and to be aware of. There's a lot of people who feel that moving forward in places like the MCU, we are going to see more younger characters, more next generation characters. It kind of makes sense. One thing that young people aren't interested in are their parents, are things that their parents like and things that their parents are into. They want things that are their own, things that their own generation can connect to. So the idea of a little bit more of a focus on newer, younger generation characters totally makes sense to me. And a daughter of Blade would fit into that mold perfectly. So I think that this is absolutely a book to pick up, not only because I think that there may be some interesting story there, but I think a first appearance of Bloodline, the daughter of Blade, makes this book a no-brainer. which is why if I could get just one free comic book on this upcoming free comic book day, May the 7th, 2022, I would get Avengers, X-Men, Eternals, Judgment Day, issue number 1. All right, there is my video for Free Comic Book Day. Once again, I remind you there are a billion of them this year. It seems like there's a lot. I don't know if there were this many in previous years. I know there's been a lot, but there seems to be especially a lot this year. So I have down in the comments a link to where you can see a list of all of those books. So check them out, see what other books might be interesting to you. Go to your comic book shop on May the 7th, pick up some free comic books, and also support your local comic shop with some additional purchases while you're there. If you like this video and you like the contents and you like the information I'm providing, likes are appreciated by me. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe and hit the notification bell so you're informed when I put out random videos somewhat similar to this one. As always, thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.